Hey folks, so today I'm going to talk to you about the Swagtron EB5. I got my bike in the middle of June. My job was about 13 miles away round trip, and I was tired of riding a regular bike. Actually, I was just kind of lazy. I wanted something that would take the edge off of riding a bike, especially uphill. It just made me so tired. I'm not really conditioned for that kind of thing. I'm more of a leisurely rider. However, I do really enjoy riding bikes. In fact, there's a lot of choices on Amazon. There are even options for converting your regular bike into an e-bike, and I seriously thought about that. But in the end, I just decided to just go ahead and get an e-bike. It just seemed like the easier thing to do. So, this was my criteria. I wanted something under 500 bucks. I needed it to be reliable and with a minimum of 15 miles per charge. So I went on Amazon and I started shopping around. When I finally decided on the EB5 made by Swagtron. At this time, it was on sale for like $4.19. It was in the beginning of the summer. I guess they do sales like that. But I did end up getting it for about $4.50 with taxes included. I'm in New Jersey, so our sales tax is almost 7%. It's about 7%. Anyways, so it had about 90 reviews, and it was averaging about 4 out of 5 stars with those 90 reviews. So, I was like, hey, this is pretty good. This is pretty reliable. And the specs were right in the pocket, more or less. It had the 15 miles of range that I was looking for. It had a 15.5 mile an hour speed, top speed. So I bought it. And it didn't take that long to arrive, maybe just like 2 or 3 days. When it arrived, I charged it and I took it for a drive. Man, this thing was awesome. I'd never had an e-bike before, so this was a whole new experience. It had the pedal assist and the throttle. This was exactly what I needed for my commute. After commuting to work for a couple of weeks, I can honestly say that the claim of 15 miles per charge was definitely true. My commute was mostly flat, and I used throttle only for like 90% of my commute. The only time I ever really used the pedal assist were for a couple of hills, and that was just so that I can conserve a little bit of energy. Now, can this thing actually go 15.5 miles per hour? Yes, it can definitely go 15.5 miles an hour. You have to be on a flat surface, flat road, and it's got to be fully charged. Is this thing reliable? Yes, it is very, very reliable. In fact, I would say that's its defining feature is its reliability. I rode this thing to work for 4 days a week for 7 months, and that's a grand total of 1,456 miles. That's not to mention all the leisurely rides I took around the neighborhood. I went to get groceries with this thing. I ran errands with this thing. I took this thing to New York and rode around. I took this thing to the Atlantic City bus station and rode it to Borgata. Played some poker. I plugged this thing in in the poker room to recharge it. The only real complaint that I had with this bike was the seat. It was just, for me and my bony butt, it was really uncomfortable. And the fact that it did not have a removable battery. There are newer models out now, the Pro Plus, the EB5 Plus, that does have a removable battery. All in all, I probably put close to, if not another 1,000 miles on this bike without considering my commute. So there's well over 2,000 miles on this bike. Now, there are some issues with the battery. There has been some degradation through the charging cycles and how long I've been riding it and using it. The capacity has been lost. I'd say probably about 20 to 30% of its original capacity is, it's now lost. I'd also like to note that in the winter season, these lithium ion batteries, they lose capacity in the cold. I'd say when it drops below 35 degrees Fahrenheit or less, there is a significant loss in the battery capacity. But when it gets warmer, it does get a little bit better. So what I did was, in order to protect the battery a little bit better, I just kept it inside my house until I was ready to go ahead and ride it and commute to work. The best thing for that was just to keep it indoors. In a nutshell, this bike is indestructible. I've ridden this thing through the heat, through the cold, and even some light rain. As long as you keep the chain oiled and you clean it, this thing will run forever. So folks, that is it for me. I will leave a link in the description of the bike and all the stuff that I used for it. And thanks for watching.